What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this episode of the Platinum Trophy Show. For those who may be a little bit uninitiated, the Platinum Trophy Show is the weekly trophy show on the internet. It's where we break down all of the new trophies that have popped up on PSN profiles. We look at all the PlayStation and trophy news, server shutdowns, new games coming out next week, and all of that, and probably tons more stuff as well. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show. Welcome back, everybody. If you're new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe button down below and stick around. This is the Platinum Trophy Show. For those of you who are uninitiated, the Platinum Trophy Show is the weekly PlayStation trophy show on YouTube. It's the one-stop shop for all your trophy news. We look at all the latest trophies that have popped up on PSN profiles. We look at all the new releases coming out next week. We take a look at trophy news and PlayStation news from the week, and much more. So that's where it is. We're actually almost up to episode 10, I think, now. I think it's like 2 more weeks and we're up to episode 10, so I'm pretty happy with how that's turning out. The viewership on this show continues to increase as well, which is pretty awesome, so thank you guys so much for supporting the show and sticking around and coming back each week to listen to all the trophy news. It's awesome. It shows that you guys want more of this, and I'll keep doing it. I was really hesitant to be doing this weekly when I first started it, but considering the support I've been given for the show, I'm more than happy to keep doing it, especially if you guys want to keep watching it. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I thought that maybe we could start off this week by looking at some of the news that's popped up. One of the things that happened this week is we got a new Crash Bandicoot game announced. I covered it on the channel, I think in a couple of different videos, which didn't actually do very well, but I'm still really excited about Crash, so I thought we'd talk about that really briefly. Push Squared has just posted an article about Crash, and in the article here they talk about how there is more levels than the entire Insane trilogy featured in Crash. Apparently over 100 levels featured in the game, which is pretty crazy. If that's true, it'd be a pretty long game. I think the interesting part of this is the fact that the game is currently on sale as a full retail game, so it has full RRP. I guess that's like $60 in the US. It's $100 here in Australia. So I guess they kind of need to justify that full price point, and I guess this is one way of doing that. Just going to adjust the camera slightly. This is one way of them doing that, and I think it's cool, but I really like Crash. So, you know, for me, more Crash Bandicoot is a good thing. But, you know, it may become tedious. It may be just too long. I don't know yet. I guess the jury is still out. I'm still not completely sold on the new art style of Crash. It's a bit, you know, take it or leave it, but it's what we're getting. So I guess we kind of have to get with it. And I'm quietly optimistic. I guess that's probably the best way of saying it. I like to be more positive about all the upcoming releases. I like to give them the benefit of the doubt up until we've played them and experienced them for ourselves. I know there's a ton of creators out there who like to just kind of dunk on games constantly, and I just don't see the point in that. If we're constantly complaining about all the games that are coming out, then why are we even playing them is kind of my attitude towards it. So I like to try and be positive and optimistic towards like all games and try and find at least something good in them. So many people put in work to make these things, and after I worked in the games industry myself and experienced that firsthand with creators making content, it has given me a newfound appreciation for game creation, I guess. Hence why I kind of just want to make something like a bit more positive when we talk about content in games. Crash, unfortunately, has been the result of quite a lot of negativity this week. I've seen a ton of people, even in my comment section, complaining about the new Crash game. I did a poll earlier in the week as well about how many people would be willing to check it out. We had a ton of people enter the poll, and it was about 25% said they weren't interested in checking the game out. So I guess the trailer didn't speak to them, or maybe they weren't, you know, maybe you guys aren't quite as excited about this game as maybe I am, which is also fine. So that's Crash. That was the one big piece of news we had this week. We also had some news about Marvel's Avengers. I'm just here on the PlayStation blog. I was going to scroll through here and find it, but you know what? I don't really feel like talking about it, to be honest. They released a whole bunch of new information about Marvel's Avengers. They cleared up the misconceptions around some of the modes in the game and things like that, and they showed a bit more gameplay. To be honest, I was really not that excited for Marvel's Avengers when they first revealed it. I think I had Avengers fatigue to a degree. But after seeing the gameplay that they released this week, and I really appreciated their announcement about having it free on PS5 if you have it on PS4 as well. After seeing all of that information, I'm actually a lot more stoked for the game, to be honest, and, it excites me a lot more. So, quietly optimistic about that. We had this story here about The Last of Us Part 2, selling more than 4 million copies in 1 week, making it Sony's fastest selling game of all time, which is pretty insane, to be honest. Despite all the hate the game's been getting, I guess there's like a vocal group of people who are really disliking the game's agenda, the game's story, the game's plot. I'm not here to talk about any of that. Despite all of that, the game is still their best-selling game they've ever released, and I think that's pretty phenomenal. It sold more than Spider-Man, which is crazy. Spider-Man's such a mainstream property that people who aren't even into video games would have bought Spider-Man, yet there was still enough gamers interested in The Last of Us to go ahead and purchase that game. So, pretty fantastic. I guess hats off to Naughty Dog and the team for making this. Whether you enjoyed the game, the narrative, the gameplay, whatever it may have been, whether you disliked it or liked it, I think the game is a technical marvel, and I think what they've done with the engine, what they've done with the facial animations, what they've done in ways of telling that story, whether you liked the story or not, I think was done, pretty expertly. And I think they've created something that's really, really unique here and unrivaled on the PS4 in terms of graphical quality and quality of the actual overall game. Again, whether or not you enjoyed the story or not, I think we can still all objectively look at it and say, you know what, Naughty Dog have done something pretty phenomenal here. Great job to them for that. That's probably all there is to it here. Oh, the last thing I wanted to talk about is this one here. So this is Marvel's Iron Man VR. Now that's coming out this week on the PlayStation Store. They've just got a blog post here talking about stuff. I guess it's like about the game, about some of the things popping up in the game. They've got like the Shield helicarrier. They've got Iron Man flying through Shanghai. Not much going on there. They've got the Stark facility. I guess that's like a weapon facility. They've got some sort of underground area showing off some of Iron Man's weapons. Let's scroll through this. So they've got this really extensive blog post featuring like everything in the game, which is pretty interesting. Sony are doing that now. I noticed they did it for Naughty Dog's. They did it for The Last of Us as well, and looks like they're sort of doing that for this too. Just trying to cover off a ton of stuff for the game to make sure people get really pumped and excited for it. They have that's basically it. The game comes out this week, 3rd of July. I actually just wanted to double check that date, hence why we scrolled away at the bottom there. I'm kind of excited for the game. I am going to have a video going up on the channel for this tomorrow about the reasons I'm excited for the game. So we'll go into a bit more detail then in that video. So you can check that one out on the channel tomorrow about why I'm pumped. I haven't actually cracked out my VR headset since Good Dog, Bad Dog. And before that, I haven't cracked it out for, I would say, like a good couple of months, maybe 2 or 3 months, since when we're in the midst of lockdown and I couldn't get outside to exercise and stuff because I was in quarantine. I played a fair bit of Beat Saber and things like that on it, and that's probably the last time I actually tried out the VR and played it extensively. So I'm kind of excited to be able to play VR again and play some Iron Man VR. There's a demo on the PlayStation Store now if you want to check that one out yourself. That's kind of the news I wanted to talk about this week. What else do we have? We've got server shutdowns here. There is nothing new that's popped up here. PlayStationTrophies.org is great. There's such a good community of people here that are chronicling server shutdowns. One of the things they've pointed out is Infamous 2. Apparently the servers are offline for Infamous 2. Now, it's unlikely that this is permanent. It's more likely that this is just a temporary shutdown for whatever reason. Sometimes the servers have issues, especially these older servers that not a lot of people are using and they're probably not maintained quite as well. They do sometimes have like problems. That's probably what's happened here. So I wouldn't be too worried about it per se, but it's important to point out like the servers are offline for the time being. If we go back to the first page of this forum post, You can see here, nothing new to be honest, like NBA, Battleborn. I guess Battleborn's new. That's happening at the beginning of next year. Battlefield Hardline. Yeah, there's nothing else on here. And then remember Destiny as well is shutting down in September. I still I'm on the fence about that one. I kind of want to play Destiny. I don't want to miss out on the platinum in Destiny 2, but I also don't really feel like playing Destiny 2, so I'm just sort of on the fence on that one. I know a couple of you guys commented last week in the video that you were keen to help out if I wanted to help, which is awesome. I really appreciate that. I possibly will take you up on your offers. I just want to know like what time investment I'm looking at here. Am I going to need to grind for like 10 or 20 hours before I can get there? And will I be able to do those raids without assistance? Like, will a couple of you guys be able to help me out and that's all we need? Or am I going to need to like find boosting groups and stuff? Because I really just don't want to have to do all that. It's just such a hassle. But maybe you guys have like a good fire team or something you can help carry me through. I don't know. Let me know. Like, honestly, if you do and you're like into Destiny and you have that crew together, seriously let me know, because you would probably tempt me. So that's server shutdowns. This week on the PlayStation Store, there wasn't a ton of stuff that popped up. These are all the games here that popped up, I guess. We had the big one was Spongebob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. That came out earlier in the week. I've covered that pretty extensively on the channel by now. You guys know what the deal is with that. We had this Pancake House game come out, but it's like way overpriced here in Australia for some reason. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer came out. I'm going to be checking that out this week as well. I'll probably have a trophy guide up for that by the middle of this week coming. I'm enjoying the game. It's really good. And the Shiba Inu, A Summer with Shiba Inu also came out. It's a visual novel, another really easy platinum. It's going to take you like 25 minutes to platinum. With a guide. Probably have a video for that come out later in the week as well. I was fortunate enough to get a code from a Rattleleaker for that one. And that probably brings us into the trophies this week. Last week we got up to, it was down here, Indiocalypse or whatever, which I believe has actually come out this week as well. So the next one on the list is the Summer with Shiba Inu, so I guess that kind of segues quite nicely. It's a really high platinum percent at the moment, 178 completed, 187 own it. The game looks kind of cool, but yeah, it's like a 25-minute platinum, 1 out of 10 with a guide. You can use a walkthrough to get everything in the game. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to check this one out in the next couple of days. I have it sitting on the console ready to go. I just haven't jumped into it yet, but I'm definitely keen to do that. So we'll be able to check that one out together and hopefully have a video up on the channel in a couple of days. But guaranteed easy platinum if you're after one. It's slightly more expensive. These visual novels from Rattleleaker tend to be more expensive than their like games. I'm not really sure why, but they do, so worth mentioning. Next on the list there is this Olympic Games video game, the official video game for the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. It's not going to be an easy platinum, but I just wanted to point it out because it's kind of sad. I feel bad for it because this was supposed to be such a big thing happening right now for Tokyo. Was the Olympic Games, which unfortunately has been delayed till next year. I believe they're just moving the date to 2021. I don't know. It just kind of made me sad. I guess all the events that are happening in the world at the moment. This is kind of a reminder of like what was planned for 2020 and what was supposed to happen in 2020 before all of this. Sorry to say, but yeah, sorry Olympic Games. Let's have a look at the trophies actually. Let's rarity. We just want to sort by grade, right? Right, there we go. Receive 10 gold medals in quick match online. Yeah, see, an online trophy like that is just, that automatically kills it. And then win 10 medals in online. Well, I've seen enough to know that that's not going to be an easy platinum at least. But RIP 2020 Olympics next year. Those are those two. Are we even? Where was that game? Summer with Shiba Inu is here. We had Coaster come out. It's like another one of those VR games, but it doesn't have a platinum. It's a shame because those VR Coaster games are actually really cool. They're like really, really basic and they're probably overpriced, but they're actually pretty decent games. Just like for a cool VR experience. That's Olympic Games. I wanted to look at Edna and Harvey Breakout. Now the reason behind this is because the art style of this, to me, makes it look like a point-and-click adventure game. Which generally, if you use a guide for those, they're really easy platinums as well. It looks like this is on multiple regions. We've only got 13 owners, but it's at 56%, which tells me it is easy. We've got a platinum walkthrough on here as well. So it obviously came out in the US maybe a week earlier than Europe. The walkthrough skips a lot of story and the humor. Oh, okay, it's on PlayStationTrophies.org. Let's have a look at it. Well, let's see exactly what people are saying here. The Mind is a City. Yeah, he's done guides for other point-and-click adventure games before too. If you found this guide helpful, click here to join the site. Video guides of this walkthrough are fine too. I guess this is technically me talking about your guides, so credit to The Mind is a City for making this. But he's got here, oh man, we want to find out how long it's going to take. That's what we want to know. Alright, 2 out of 10, 3 to 5 hours. There you go. So like a 3 to 5 hour platinum. Pretty easy platinum if you're after that. Yeah, that's probably all I need to say on that one. That took longer than it should have. Radical Rabbit Stew. I actually thought this was a Red Leaker game, but it's got too many trophies to be a Red Leaker game. Let's have a look at the golds. Collect every blue coin. Beat the Lord Butter without taking damage. Go down the rabbit hole. Play through the game without dying. Beat the angry Lord Butter. Okay. Play through the game in under an hour. So that is a good sign, because that means we could be looking at easy plat. I actually thought this was a racing game for some reason, but obviously it's not. Let's find out what it is. Definitely not what I thought it was. This is like, it's a puzzle game, like an isometric pixel art puzzle game, but it's not the kind of game I thought this was going to be at all. I guess if you had the solutions to the puzzles, but it looks like there's a bit of variability here, like hack and slash gameplay and stuff as well. Probably not the game I thought it was going to be. However, with a trophy on the list for like completing the game in under an hour, it's definitely worth keeping on your radar because it potentially could be an easy platinum. The artwork is so deceptive, eh? It doesn't look anything like what I assumed it was going to be. We had Formula 1 2020's trophies go live. These games traditionally are really long and time-consuming plats as well, but I know that there are some fans of racing games on the channel because I've had comments about racing games and why I ignore them, so I thought I'd mention it. Reach team acclaim level of 20 in my team and win the F1 Drivers' Championship. Those actually don't seem too bad, but then right underneath it, complete 50 online races, complete 25 online races. The online races, man, like, it just kills it. It makes it so much more difficult than it needs to be. Don't know why people do that. I don't know why they put these online trophy. I mean, it's, yeah, I guess like people who are playing this kind of game every year are probably into the online, so maybe I shouldn't complain too much. It's not for me. What else? Well, we had Star Wars come out this week, right? So this is a pretty easy platinum as well, actually. I think this one's going to take you like, let me check. I think it's like 10 hours or so. Yeah, I think it's like 10 hours, like a 2 or a 3 out of 10. Released 1970. Let me play through some more of this and I'll have some more information about it later in the week. But it looks pretty cool. It's like a remaster of an old classic Star Wars game. You have to play, I believe, all 27 races, and then there's a ton of miscellaneous stuff in there as well. But apart from that, like, yeah, I don't think there's too much else that you have to worry about. Yeah, that's that one. We do have trophy guides on here, but they all link to other websites. They're not like built into PSN profiles, unfortunately. Actually, that's the last game. That's the last game I want to talk about, because everything else above this, looks like Shell Shock Live. I thought was going to be worth chatting about, but it's got 47 bronze trophies, which is just so many bronzes. It does have a, let's click on it, let's have a look. It does have a high completed percentage, but I don't know what this is, but people are boosting, which means there's online trophies. Yeah, win 500 rounds. Nah, forget about that. Other thing I thought I'd mention is we had on Gamestatcom, these are all the games that have popped up on PlayStation Network this week. It doesn't mean they're live, it just means they've been added to PlayStation Network. Ghost of Tsushima has been added. The American, Asian, European, and Japanese version of the game is now loaded onto PlayStation Network, which means that if you've pre-ordered the game, I imagine that your preload of the game will start like any time now if it hasn't already, because the game is now available to download. So I thought that was kind of interesting, because we're still about 3 weeks away from that game coming out. Goosebumps has also gone up on the store. I don't believe that game has a release date yet. I had a look last week after we talked about it on the channel, and I can't find a release date for it. So that is probably just going to drop imminently, is my assumption. I'm guessing there's a Goosebumps movie to come with it, maybe. And then Fast and Furious Crossroads has gone up on the PlayStation Store as well. Genuinely don't know what that's about, because that game isn't coming out for another, like, month. I think that game's coming out in August, right? This is their website. It doesn't have a date here. But on Wikipedia it says 7th of August, which I think I've talked about it on the channel already, but it's a shame they don't put it, like, right up front on their website. Also, over on GameStat, we can have a look at the games that were most popular for this month. Because this is the last episode in June, it's kind of cool to look at all the games that were really popular in June. So what we can do here is we can sort PS4 releases, and we can look at new players, so people who are new to playing a game for the month. So we had 8 million new players, well, just over 8 million new players pick up Call of Duty World War II, which is kind of cool. A lot of people playing COD and Star Wars. Star Wars was definitely nowhere near as popular as Call of Duty was, though. So Call of Duty definitely trounced that. That was followed by Modern Warfare. I guess that's because of Warzone, it's free. And then The Last of Us Part 2 had 3.5 million players there as well. Which is actually lower than what Sony's sales were, right? Because didn't Sony say 4 million? Maybe it's not completely up to date. Or maybe like some 500,000 people bought the game twice. I don't know. FIFA had a ton of new players, which doesn't surprise me. Then it's like all your regular suspects. Grand Theft Auto, Apex Legends, Minecraft, Farming Simulator 19 is kind of an outlier. Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, NBA 2K20, and then the original Last of Us. Those ones are under 1 million new players for the month. Injustice Gods Among Us kind of peaked as well. That was free, so it makes sense. But it was kind of a weird freebie, like it went under the radar. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Is Fortnite even on here? Like in terms of new players, Fortnite isn't here, which is very interesting. Need for Speed Heat is on here, and that game is on sale at the moment, so I guess that kind of makes sense for that. But yeah, well, it's weird. Brawlhalla is on here too. I wonder why so many people played that this month, but not Fortnite. I don't know. Maybe I've like missed something with Fortnite, but you can sort it here by returning players as well. So that's people who have already played the game in advance of this month. And if you're looking at like those most popular games, it's Call of Duty World War II, Grand Theft Auto, FIFA, and then Battlefront. So that's it's just an interesting little thing. Maybe it'll be interesting for me to go into like more stats on what people are playing. If you guys are interested, I can do like more breakdowns of this, and we can have a look at like more stats. Let me know if you're interested. We can do that. You click on new releases here, you can see all the new games that people have picked up. If we look at this, then the most popular new things were Last of Us by a long mile, then Minecraft Dungeons and Maneater. It's funny how quickly it drops. Like you're in the millions, then you're in the 100,000s, then you're in the tens of thousands, and then suddenly you're just in the thousands. Like that. It drops so quickly. It really goes to show how many more people are playing the big AAA games compared to the small ones. I don't know how often this updates. Like the last time this updated was the 21st. So the Last of Us number is probably a little bit higher. And also Spongebob is only 2,300 at the moment, when obviously that would be higher. But it probably only like updated just as Spongebob came out. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about in this episode of the Platinum Trophy Show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. I don't know if there was anything else I wanted to talk about. I don't have anything else open. Normally I have all my tabs and everything open, ready to go. Yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm trying to do some things different with it. I don't want to make it just looking at PSN profiles, because I feel like that just gets a bit boring. So I want to try and like inject some other stuff into it as well, having a bit more of a discussion about trophies, looking at news and things, and maybe it's altering the events. Yeah, trying to make it more of like a topical news type show, or a topical weekly show, rather than just trophy, because I think that does get boring for people as well. I know I wouldn't want to just watch that, so I want to make content that I would definitely watch, and I would probably watch this if it's more about just kind of a bit of everything. But feedback is really welcome, so let me know down in the comment section below. Yeah, and we can change things around if we need to. Like I said before, I'm open to making this a live show if that's something that people would like, or I'm open to tweaking it as well, so we can make an audio-only show, so we can have the video version go up on YouTube, and then maybe a podcast version goes up separately that you guys can listen to as a podcast, but it would need a bit of tweaking to make that happen, because obviously it's quite visual. But we can work on that. If that's something people are keen on, then it's definitely something I can look at doing later in the year. Yeah, alright guys, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching, really appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything this week that you guys are going to be picking up. Is there any new games that you're going to be playing? Are you excited for Iron Man like I am? Is there anything from this episode that I've discussed that you guys want to chat about? Leave your comment down in the comment section below. As you know, I reply to every single comment, so let's have a discussion about it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See ya!